Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here. Listen, I started this channel to have frank and honest discussions about movies and TV. Sometimes it's going to get offensive to certain people. Maybe that's fans of these shows or people who actually work on the shows. I'm sorry, but my passion gets the better of me sometimes. When I don't like something, when I feel insulted by something, I have to say it. This consent storyline on EastEnders is beyond embarrassing. Embarrassing to the legacy of the show, Tony and Julia's legacy, the two people who created EastEnders. Let me read you a few quotes from last night, and then we can really dig into this, and I am going to dig into this. So you get easily offended, piss off. This is a quote from Ruby. "It's not on me to stop them, it's on them not to do it in the first place." I've never heard a more simplistic piece of dialogue in my life. Well, thank you, Ruby. Thank you, EastEnders. Now we know how to solve all rape. All we have to do is stand in the streets and tell all rapists, who are of course just men, right? Evil men, all men, all men, all men are rapists. Don't forget that, according to the BBC and EastEnders, right? Apart from Denise, by the way, apart from Denise, who had sex with Phil without consent, right? And the person writing last night's episode blatantly got the character to say that, not about her own situation, that, you know, and it's embarrassing. It's when you write something that embarrasses you. It's when you creatively dig yourself a hole. The Denise Phil situation won't go away. They're talking about consent. They're talking about rape. But basically, Denise raped Phil, right? There's nothing you can do to change my mind on that. Anyway, so this simplistic dialogue is disgusting, and it's an insult to every single rape victim, including me, and that's why it means something to me as well. This is insulting. And what they've tried to do on here is make rape and consent just a female issue. It's not an issue. Men and women are raped all the time. How dare you? And I hate this when women come out, yeah, but women are raped more. What? So that means me being raped means nothing, because my gender don't get raped as much as your gender. Is that what you're saying to me? You're a disgrace. It's not just me who's disgusted by this. It's other men and women who are watching the show, who are fans of this show, who have supported this mediocrity for over a decade. But it's not just that. I've been contacted by actors, male and female, on EastEnders who do not want to be identified, people who work on the show, behind the camera, as well as in front of the camera, who want me to do this video. And I'm going to do it without mentioning their names. So many people are insulted by this storyline, and it is an insult. So I'm going to scroll away from this disgusting, simplistic piece of dialogue and read something else to you, if I can find it. Bear with me, please. Here's Denise. Silence isn't a yes. Exactly, Denise. Silence isn't a yes. So what gave you the right to have sex with Phil when he didn't consent? Forget the fact that this is big, bad Phil Mitchell. It's still rape. Denise raped Phil, right? Some of these cringy kind of things they do on the BBC EastEnders Twitter account, social media account, it's a joke. It's so cringy, right? I'm embarrassed for them. This is the one I have to read out. This is hilarious, absolutely hilarious. Everyone makes it out as if being a woman is not enough in their own right. You've got to somehow be connected to a man. I mean, really? Really? What does this piece of dialogue have to do with consent or lack of consent? What does this piece of dialogue got to do with rape? Ever since this storyline started, we've had female characters standing there going, ooh, I hate boys. Boys are horrible. Pretty much, isn't it? Pretty much. It's so juvenile and an immature way to execute a storyline of this importance. Because guess what? Consent is important. Rape is important. It's one of the biggest crimes in the UK and around the world, but not just to women, but to men and boys as well. But this is the biggest insult of the night. You're talking like a 13-year-old girl who's just been dumped by her boy, and you're trying to pretend you don't want another boyfriend. Or we all do it when we're dumped and hurt, right? But what's this got to do with anything? It's ridiculous. It's immature. It's childish. Explain to me what credence this has got to do with anything. And Louisa Lytton, she's the biggest embarrassment. I mean, this young woman was never a good performer when she was originally on the show. Now, I don't know if she's got famous parents or famous connections in this industry, which is how it works. I know, basically. So somehow, I mean, I'm still cracking up when I think about her on the bill shouting, "Stop, police!" Do you remember that? Embarrassing. But this is how this industry works. So first of all, right, why would you bring back this character played by not a very good performer at all to execute such an important storyline? But why would you turn such an important storyline about, "I hate boys," which is pretty much what it's been. It's been gender blaming. That's all it's been doing. And it's because it's written and constructed by a bunch of loony lefts, right? And before you start, Labour and Proud, right? But a bunch of loony lefts, right? Who look at the world in the wrong way. They don't look at people as individuals. They look at people as boxes. We're men. We're horrible. We're evil. They hate men. They hate us. They're going to stand and on a TV show and say lots of horrible things about every guy. This is an insult, everyone. If you've been raped, they're insulting you. Please don't go on social media applauding this shit, because this is what it is. It's shit. Now, if this was any other broadcaster, they would have so much crap coming down on them right now. But not them. This is the company who employed Jimmy Savile, and let's be honest about it, allegedly probably knew about what was going on and got away with it. That would have destroyed most TV companies, right? I'm saying allegedly, of course. There's no proof of that, right? But this is the kind of company we're dealing with. This is a company that takes a conservative line and protects the Tories against pillaging and raping a whole country in the United Kingdom, right? That's left so many families not knowing where their next meal's coming from. But then, on the other hand, the BBC are a company that go down this loony left SJW, woke kind of direction. So what are they? What is this company politically? Because I don't understand. Make your minds up, BBC. You're either fascists or you're SJW woke leftists. Please let me know, please, because I really need to know. But that quote was the pits. I think there's another one, actually. Let's have a look. I think that's it, actually. I think that's it, right? So, yeah. So I've read you a couple of quotes that absolutely disgusted me last night. Now, I had arguments with some people who liked what they did on EastEnders. Surprisingly, these were just the normal kind of girlies, let's put it this way. Because let me be honest with you, they're not typical opinions. The typical opinion is that this is disgusting. This is insulting. As EastEnders fans, you have the right to speak out. Now, obviously, Kate Oates is taking over this show. And I mean, if she was watching this last night, what must she think? What must she think that they've taken something like rape and simplified it as in, "I hate boys. All boys are bad." Really? Really? I mean, but that quote, the first quote I read, was really, for me, took the biscuit. It really did. I hope that people who were insulted by that no longer watch this show to show this company, to show these people this isn't going to be tolerated. How many actors from EastEnders do you think came onto Twitter applauding that? 2, 3? Tilly Keeper, surprise, surprise, with her mentality, right? And who else was it? Oh, Jessie Wallace, who plays Kat. That was a bit of a surprise because Jessie's quite an intelligent woman. She's nothing like Kat in real life, as she really is intelligent. So I'm surprised she did the applause MOJ, really, because there's nothing to applaud Jessie. There's nothing to applaud Tilly, because what was done last night doesn't just insult all rape victims. It insults you as females. It kind of limits rape and consent to this little, oh, boys are bad. I don't like boys anymore. Boys hurt me. You can't. EastEnders was famous for tackling social issues in a responsible way by researching them first of all and getting the right people to write them. But I can guarantee you this woman who wrote last night's episode did very little research about rape. Because if she did, she wouldn't have wrote a line of what she did in last night's episode. EastEnders is a TV show that's been on the downscale, as I say, for 10, 15, maybe even 20 years now. And this is why they're bringing Kate Oates in. But unless the BBC allow this woman to run the show her way, as ITV did with Coronation Street and Emmerdale, and they stop sticking their loony left beak in, then this show will not survive. This show will carry on going down the parapet. Because at the end of the day, creatives run great TV shows, and broadcasters do what they do best, and broadcast.